Hello everyone and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today wherever you are in this great world. We're going to talk about XRP. I'm also going to answer some of your questions around Bitcoin as well. So former Ripple director says Ripple needs to acquire another company. This comes from Sean McBride. Ripple needs to acquire another company, spend some of that money instead of sitting on it for no apparent reason. Reinvest, build, repeat. Now, I think if Ripple was to go and acquire another company, it would be a strategic move. You ever take notice? Brad's very strategic in the path forward for Ripple. They went towards custody. They moved towards tokenization. I think they're going to also look to strengthen their stablecoin once it goes live later this year as well. But I do think Ripple needs to continue building out. They have a ton of capital. Then there's Meld Gold. The time has come. Meld Gold is coming to the XRP ledger. So this is what they plan to do. What will Meld Gold launch? Gold and silver tokens will go live on the XRP ledger in Q3. Combining the world's oldest currency with the reliability, utility, and accessibility offered by the XRP ledger. The Meld Gold team will continue driving physical, real-world asset innovation into a multi-chain future. You ever take notice the projects that come onto the XRP ledger? They're always pushing towards tokenization, transactions, and every one of the projects that are building out right now are solid projects as well. I like the direction this is going in, and this is a great path forward. Now, a lot of you asked me how I see Bitcoin losing value over time. Well, let's first go back to 2020. What does it take physically to store $300 billion worth of gold versus $300 billion worth of Bitcoin? Transporting gold this huge is very expensive affair compared to sending Bitcoin across the world. Bitcoin as digital gold is 100x more useful than gold. Now that was always great back then. It built momentum around Bitcoin. It built that hype up as well. But here we are today, and 2024 is much different than 2020. Are you really that dense that you can't leave your echo chamber and see what's actually taking place in the world? This comes from Shitcoin Millionaire. Bitcoin has nothing to do with smart contracts, tokenization, payments, at any kind of scale, AI integration. Literally, the only thing it still has is store of value. But Larry Fink would argue with that. He says Bitcoin is digital gold and a great long-term store of value. Take a listen.
That there's a lot of merit to it. There's a lot of opportunity. It is a great store, and this is where you can debate. Is it a good store?
But you know how it's made. A bunch of computers figure out
But
math
there's
problems.
but the issue is if people believe that it can be an asset that can be cross-border. Right. And let's be clear, if you're in a country where you're fearful of your government, and maybe this is one of the reasons why China has banned it. Mm-hmm. If you're in a government where if you're in a country where you're fearful of your future, fearful of your government, or you're frightened that your government is devaluing its currency by too much deficits.
And that's what's going on right now. That's the narrative that's being pushed by Bitcoin maxis. Because the US dollar, we're in a ton of debt. And people are always saying, now is the time you should push towards Bitcoin. The problem I see with Bitcoin, it's too expensive to use for transactions. And it takes too long for it to move value. Now, if you listen to the CEO of Wisdom Tree, they're thinking it's a lot different for Bitcoin. Take a listen.
Why should Bitcoin settle so much better than other asset classes? Gold and Bitcoin are under the same commodity regime. Gold, tokenized, physically backed gold, travels as smoothly across the world as Bitcoin does. Still physically backed, so it does have an intermediary, but it is, there's no reason that it can't be as smooth. So I'm expecting that you're going to see a resurgent. Wisdom Tree, we manage about 13 billion in gold. You sometimes hear Bitcoin being referred to as digital gold. No, there is digital gold. Bitcoin is different. Both have a role, and let the investor
Let the market
choose.
decide.
So he's saying that Bitcoin is not digital gold. And tokenized gold, I think, is going to kill that entire narrative that Bitcoin is digital gold. And think about how fast they can move it on other networks. Tokenized gold can settle in a matter of seconds over XRP, utilizing XRP as that bridge asset. Molly Elmore actually did a really good job on what exactly is tokenized gold. As fiat currencies around the world lose value, focus on gold as money has intensified. But tokenized gold is going to be so much easier to move. And that's why I said, as more and more of the narratives around Bitcoin die off, the belief in Bitcoin will die with it. And then all of a sudden, the money will move from Bitcoin into utility-driven assets like XRP, XLM, XDC, Xrpl, because utility is going to rise over time. And you could already see the narrative shifting away from hype towards utility. You see it every single day. And even the biggest financial institutions are telling you that utility is the path forward. So she says, benefits of gold tokenization, liquidity, buying and selling gold is easier when tokenized, accessibility. Tokenized gold can be an exchange via online exchanges, opening market to people previously excluded. So think about this. Once they tokenize gold, you could start investing in gold the same way you could start to invest in tokenized real estate with as little as like $50. And then week over week, you could invest more and more money into tokenized gold. It opens up a whole new line of investors. People that don't like crypto will still invest in tokenized gold, is what I'm saying. And that's why I said money's going to move away from Bitcoin over time. So I hope that answered a lot of people's questions in the comments section, and people that were naysayers saying there's no way that Bitcoin's ever going to become irrelevant over time. It absolutely will. Right now, what's propping up Bitcoin is people believe in it. They believe it could get to 100K. They believe it could get to $1 million at some point. Honestly, in this next run-up, even with the blow-off top, I'm still not sold on the idea that Bitcoin breaks 100K. And if it does, I don't think it'll ever see over 120K. I think as we move forward into the future, all the narrative is going to shift into utility. Ethereum ETF approval and other factors will boost altcoins. Like I said, the Ethereum ETFs are going to be what really kicks off alt season, in my opinion. I think that's going to be the catalyst that gets this market going. The altcoins are ready for their upward run. I think we'll be seeing a lot of momentum from late June until September to October. A repricing back to their normal values after the big cascade of the first period of the year. A lot of people are saying alt season's going to be done and over with by the time we get to Christmas this year. People will say alt season has come and gone by then. But then what comes next? That's where I think things are going to change. I think along the way, we're going to get big announcements around utility. I think more big financial institutions are going to get into this space. And I think it's going to take into next year for this market to top out. What's your thoughts on it, though? Put it in the comments section down below. Because nobody can really call this market. Everybody is still speculating still. Forbes brands XRP as a good-for-nothing zombie crypto once again. So it looks like Forbes just could not let it go. They had to bring this up once again. So they're saying the report also highlighted that despite these supposed shortcomings, XRP still boasts a market cap exceeding $36 billion, ranking in the 6th most valuable crypto. Moreover, it's noted that XRP remains heavily traded, with around $2 billion in daily transactions, though it suggests that such activity is driven by speculation rather than utility. Forbes contended that SWIFT remains robust and unchallenged by Ripple. It pointed out that Ripple itself is now challenged by more efficient methods for international payments using blockchain technology, such as stablecoins like USDT. I don't know if Forbes got the memo or not, but Ripple is not trying to replace SWIFT. However, I think the BIS is looking to replace SWIFT. SWIFT wants to stay behind. They want to keep technology right where it is right now, because going forward, technology is going to just push SWIFT out of the way. The BIS is trying to fast track into the new financial system, and nothing is going to hold them back. They have the technology to do it. They have RippleNet, they have XRP, they have Stellar and XLM, they have XDC for digital trade to push that market ahead. All the technology is now here for the new financial system to take shape. And I think that's the BIS, the IMF, the ECB, other countries fast tracking, even BRICS is accelerating things. SWIFT either is going to get on board with the rest of the world, or they will just push SWIFT out of the way. And it doesn't even have to be Ripple fighting SWIFT. It's the BIS. I pointed that out in a video a couple days ago. But everybody wants to know what's taking so long for XRP to take off. Here's an older video of David Schwartz explaining what's still holding us back.
The narrative for a few years, because I've talked to your CEO, Brad, fairly often, and he's made the case this is a way for banks to save money, use XRP as kind of a bridge currency. But I got to say, it doesn't seem to be happening. It seems every year this is kind of the promise, but we're not seeing a lot of adoption. What's going on there?
I would agree that adoption of digital assets has been a little slower, or you could see it as being incredibly quick or incredibly slow, depending on what time frame you think is reasonable. I would say revolutionizing international finance is not something that you would expect to happen overnight, but it is a multi-step process. And I think the first problem that we encountered, we kind of thought that we could take a direct line to settling with a digital asset, and I think a lot of people thought that, well, now we have digital assets, let's just use them for payments, and that'll be that. Part of the problem is that the payment systems are just not capable of supporting instantaneous settlement. So if you think about a payment system like SWIFT, where you just kind of push a payment message out, and you don't necessarily know the entire path, and you don't know the fees until later, you don't even know if the destination account even exists until sometime later when the payment is actually processed by the destination institution. There's no way that you could build instantaneous settlement into a system like that. So we kind of found ourselves in this situation where if we wanted institutions to settle their international payments with a digital asset, we first had to rebuild the payment messaging, sort of the plumbing. And we discovered something interesting on the way. What we discovered was that the existing plumbing was so bad, it dates back to batch computing days, that just improving that messaging was a product. That was something that banks and non-bank financial institutions would be interested in. And so we focused on building a top-notch payment network that can settle with a digital asset.
And that's what's taking so long for XRP to moon. Let's just put it that way. It's the fact that a new financial system is being built right in front of us right now. And that was an older video, and we have come a long way since then. A lot of rails have been set up since then. I talk about those rails every single day for over 2 years now. I show you another rail between these two countries, another remittance rail between these two countries. And once all the rails are put in place, then it's going to be time to flip the switch. And, like he said, SWIFT is outdated. It just can't keep up with what's coming. And I think that's why Swift is still dragging their feet to move into the digital age. They don't want it to happen because they want to keep it the way it is right now, where they are in control. The problem is the rest of the world is moving towards real-time payments. People want fast, cheap, and secure. They want instant payments as well. And that's where we're headed. And as we get there, we're going to start to see utility drive the price of XRP. We're going to start to see demand rise for XRP. And as the demand rises, the price will rise with it. But until it all happens, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.